Okay, I just want to talk a little bit about Darrell Brooks. About Darrell Brooks. And I want to give an example of something that I think would serve a good point because we'll wait till some. Hold on, hold on, y'all. Let me. This is a podcast style, so you're not going to see me. It's not going to be visual. This is audio. Hold on, I gotta cut this off. Hold on a second. All right, so I want to say this. I like how Sue Opper was able to indicate to the somebody said good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I like how Sue Opper was able to indicate to the jury, basically debunking um, his Darrell Brooks's claims of this whole thing happening not by intent. Now we know, and those of you know that there was nothing wrong with the throttle body of the vehicle, which gave him the ability or the capacity to stop. All right. And just because people was in his way did not give him the right to say, well, there's people in my way, so let me just run them over. I drive all the time. I remember when I was in the parking lot yesterday, because I was coming out of the grocery store, and there was a people, and you know when you drive through a parking lot, there's people walking, and they walk so slow, and you just want them to just get out of your way. But that doesn't give you the right to say, all right, well, since they're not moving out of my way, they're walking slow. That doesn't give you the right to say, all right, well, let me run them over. I mean, who does that? And that had to be intent given the fact that he had the capacity to stop. Good evening, Mr. Truth Teller. There's people that get on my nerves all the time that get in my way. And I don't like people in my way, especially when I'm trying to drive. But that doesn't give me the right to say, okay, let me run them over and that will get them out of my way. No, I have to wait and be patient. I have to yield and let these pedestrians walk. And so it had to be intent. Otherwise, he would have just stopped. Now, I like how Sue Opera said, remember she said, now if he would have hit one person, then maybe that would have added to credibility in terms of him saying that it wasn't by intent. But no, he kept going, hitting multiple people. That's what broke down the credibility. That's what made it not believable in terms of what he was claiming. And then, of course, the inspection, they found out was nothing wrong. Of course, his mother was complicit, trying to say that there was a recall that got debunked. It's like they just was pretty much hello everybody, hello everybody. I mean, they pretty much was pulling every rabbit out of the hat, trying to get him off. And the ultimate thing they tried to do was to suggest that this was mental illness. And by the way, I was just watching when the judge was giving her deliberation during the sentencing, where she debunked that whole false narrative of this being mental illness because she spoke to experts. There were experts that actually watched this trial. They watched his demeanor. They watched his conduct during the trial. They observed him. And they all had the same opinion saying that this was not mental illness. Now, of course, he has mental illness, but that wasn't what drove him to do that. That's not what led him to do what he did. And it's so sad. It's so sad that his family kept banking on that false narrative to try to cushion the impact of sentencing. That's what they were doing. They were trying to be the cushion so that way he wouldn't have a harsh sentence. Let's try to make it easy. No, absolutely not. All right, let me read the comments. Somebody said, how did you feel about his grandmother's statement? Well, I was ambivalent about it because I felt that she came up there technically with an agenda. Because what did she do? She was plugging her book, talking about her church, her ministry. Was she really there to support him, or was she there to garner attention? Was she there for the purpose of publicity? Now you got to remember, the whole world saw this trial. And by the way, when I say the whole world, guess what? That debunks Darrell's claim relative to the Reddit post when he said that one of the jurors had wrote this because he said there was somebody that had intimate knowledge. Well, wait a minute. The whole world had intimate knowledge because it was live streamed. But getting back to my point, I think his grandmother, so-called grandmother, there's people saying that that's not his grandmother. So I'll just call her the wicked witch of the wicked so-called grandmother of the West. I think she had an agenda because she was on a platform. The whole world saw that case. And so she took that opportunity to plug her book. So I was ambivalent relative to her statement. I didn't like the fact that she advocated mental illness because clearly that's not what it was. All right. Somebody have anything else? I totally agree with you. Thank you, Monica. So how did you feel? Okay, let me read this. Somebody said, do you think he will fire his attorney on Friday? I don't see any basis to why. Because didn't he already plead guilty to one of the charges? Was that the gun charge? Uh, Between him and his nephew? I don't really see any basis to fire an attorney. I don't even see any basis to even go through with these cases, given the fact that he's never coming out in light of what he did during the parade back in 2021. So I don't really think it makes any sense to even move forward with it. Um, just like he was very respectful to the judge in that case, which had really no impact. It didn't matter to be and he was already disrespectful to the judge, which landed him all those years in jail. And you think, listen, let me tell you something. You think Judge Doro wasn't gonna come for him after she basically got the okay from the jurors relative to those verdicts? Those verdicts of guilt was the okay for Judge Doro to throw the book at him. I think in retaliation relative to how he treated her during the trial, because somehow he thought that he was coming out of this and Judge Doro didn't matter. That's why he kept saying the jury has the power to nullify. It was like, never mind Judge Doro. She ain't nobody. The real people that got the power is the jurors. I don't know why he banked on them for whatever reason. And then he found out otherwise, then he had to come subject under Judge Doro, which was going to happen all along, in my opinion. And that's exactly what happened. All right, let me read this. Somebody said his mother was his enabler and she kept bailing him out. Well, we know that. He kept on arguing bias. Well, his family was biased. And I don't get his mother. I think his mother is a liar. Talking about she feels sorry for the victims. Well, she feels sorry for the victims. Then why does she feel as though that it wasn't right what happened to Darrell relative to him serving all this time in jail? Did she think that he was going to get off? Did she think that this was going to be a walk in the park for him? But then that goes back to her suggesting, saying that she was dealing with mental illness too. So now you got two peas in the pot, so to speak. All right. Let's read. Somebody said, I don't think he will plead out on the Erica case because he wants to talk to her again. Time will tell. We will see. We will see. When is that? Is that in August? Isn't that supposed to take place in August? She have all the power. Right. The judge had all the power once the verdicts came in. Now, can you imagine if the verdicts? Oh, it's Friday. Is it this Friday? Is this Friday? Do you think his mom was dealing with drugs or mental illness? It could be all of the above. All of the above. All of the above. We know it's something. We know something's not right with her. Because there is no way you can be afraid of somebody, have a restraining order on them, and then you go and bail them out of jail. Something is mentally wrong. That doesn't sound right, right? That sounds a little off. So we know something is off with his mother. Something is mentally not right with that family. Friday is a pre-trial hearing. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to tune in. Is court TV covering that? Is court TV covering that? Yes, this Friday, as long as the court allows it to be live streamed. Well, that's why I'm asking about court TV, because that's what it is. Court TV live streams the cases. That will be interesting. That will be interesting. You know what? Let me say this, y'all. I know, obviously, he's a buffoon. He's a character, and there's a lot of people that enjoys the entertainment of the trial. But y'all got to really realize, at the end of the day, I don't think these families, the victims, finds this entertaining at all. Because their loved ones is dead. They ain't coming back. And unfortunately, Darrell just made a mockery of people is just talking about it. And I'm pretty sure that these families doesn't find this entertaining at all. Would you find one of your loved ones dead? Would you find that entertaining? I think we really need to think about that. The Swanson family. Do you think Jackson Sparks' mother thinks this is entertaining? Think about that. Put yourself in the family's shoes. They had to go through Thanksgiving without their loved ones. So yes, he acted like a buffoon, but in reality, these families are hurting. Think about that. Just think about that. All right. Somebody said Darrell loves the attention. Well, that's probably why he's going to fire his attorney and represent himself when he in the Erica Patterson case. Erica be blamed should be blamed for anything. I hate when Darrell Brooks say anything, because he doesn't say anything. He said anything. Anything. I didn't do anything. You didn't give me anything. And I hate when he said he wasn't provided with stuff. And every time Judge Darrell would provide him with documents, what was his response, y'all? I accept value in return of value in this doc. So if you're not going to accept it, then how you going to complain that you wasn't provided with documents? Talking about his ICF forms. And then when she gives him it, I accept value in return. This man is. Somebody said, I can't imagine. And I don't mean to talk about women, and I don't mean to talk about Erica Patterson, but I think, and no, and I don't want this to be misconstrued, but I don't think the elevator goes all the way upstairs even with her. Because how does she even deal with somebody like this? You got something got to be wrong with you to deal with Darrell Brooks as your baby dad and your boyfriend. Something, the elevator ain't gone all the way up. There's no way. There's no way anybody in their right mind. And y'all saw the way he was acting in court. Can you imagine how he really acts on the street? And that got to make sense across the board because guess what? His criminal history is unprecedented. He's been in and out of court all his life. Hello, Lyles. God bless you, T.Y. He groomed her ever since she was 15 years old, and it happened in Nevada. Happened in Nevada. Y'all remember when Judge Darrell had said to him, this was during the sentencing. This is before, right before he got kicked out because he interrupted her. He interrupted Judge Darrell during sentencing. When she told him that you had absolutely no regard for your baby's mother, running her over, and remember he said, you gonna sit up there and talk about somebody who has kids who doesn't have custody of none of them. Well, wait a minute. I can challenge back and say, did you have custody of any of them children? So how he gonna talk about her not having custody when he clearly didn't? How you gonna talk about her, but you was sleeping with her when she was underage? That's how she got pregnant. See, I don't understand that. I don't understand how you could commit a crime, but yet somehow you are the victim in this. You are the victim. So, he probably was. He probably was. But I feel sorry. I feel sorry because how many other people did he do this to? But now he's serving his time, finally. Look, y'all, I'm not really feeling too well tonight. Y'all pray for me. I've been dealing with gout. Well, I could barely walk. And so I'm not going to be on here long. So I just wanted to get on. I was kind of bored. I said, well, let me get on here and just say a few words. I know y'all enjoy my commentary. Good night. Take care. Yes, keep me in prayer. Someone said, hold on, let me read this. Thank you. Where he was in a documentary in 2007. That meth, I think, was on the law. Yeah, I did see that. I think that's when he was in Nevada. That's when he was in prison. He was in Nevada. Wow, and that was 2007. And here he is in 2023, back in prison again. And guess what? This time he ain't coming out. Yes, we hope you feel better. Yes, thank you. I have medication. It's just taking a while to kick in. It did kick in earlier today, but then it went back to default. So then, and I told y'all I've been fasting, so it kind of messed up my fast because I can't take the medication on an empty stomach. I have to have something to eat. And so that kind of screwed up a lot of things. But yeah, gout without a doubt is no joke. You don't want that. I think now y'all saw me posting food and stuff. That's when I was able to eat within that hour window because I had fasted for 24 hours. So when I ate, I was eating different meats. I think that took effect. That meat and stuff that I wasn't supposed to have, and that uric acid got into my joints. And did I pay a price for that? Did I pay a price? Just like Mr. Brooks is paying a price for what he did. Listen, y'all, I'd rather deal with gout than to be dealing with 7,000 years. I don't, you know what y'all ain't saying. If I had a choice between gout and 7,000 years in prison, I would embrace gout like I'm about to get married. Yes, I've been drinking plenty of water. I've been drinking plenty of water. And so I'm trying, what I've been doing is keeping my foot elevated, keeping it elevated to try to sedate or to suppress the pain. All right. Lakeisha laughing. I know that's right. I know that's right. But listen, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go now. Now look for some more videos tomorrow. I'm gonna be doing a video on the sentencing. There's been a lot of people that requested for me to talk about Judge Darrell on the sentencing. Somebody said, "Take care, take care." Thank you, thank you. Well, y'all have a good night and stay tuned. Look forward to the future videos that I'm going to be putting out. And thank you for subscribing. Y'all have a good night. Good night. Good night.